Word up, everybody. Word up, everybody. We are live. Hopefully you guys can chat in. What's up, everybody? Hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear me. Welcome to our moon night. Yeah. We are live. And the moon looks beautiful tonight. Hey, what's happening? I think it's just you and me right now. Maybe some other people will come on. While we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and try to make this look a little better. So bear with me. Actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way it's looking. Ooh, get a little earth shine on that one. Let me take that down. Ooh, there we go. That's a little bit better. That's nice. All right. Hey. Good to see you guys. See, I don't know your names when you get the Slick Kid and the Kalenite. I don't know who you are. So you're going to have to help me out a little bit or give me some hints. Oh, Leaky Cat? Seriously? All right. Looks good. Well, this is almost a first quarter moon, you guys. Can you hear me okay? What's happening, James? Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. There's probably about a 5-second delay built into this thing. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and, good, thank you. Let's go ahead and take a look. So, welcome to my backyard live. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. And what you got here is our almost first quarter moon. And you guys can pretty much take a look if we zoom in nicely here. You guys can see some of the C's that we talked about. Right there is Chrysium. You can see that right there. And then, sorry, there's Chrysium right there. My bad. And there is Nectaris. Here's Tranquility right here. And the Apollo landed somewhere right about here. Can you guys see my little arrow right there? Somewhere about that. And then this is Serenity right here. Got some really cool craters. This is my favorite phase of the moon just because of the craters. So I want to point out, first of all, these three craters right here that really show up well. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. And it's just a little out of focus, but not too bad. So these three are highlighted perfectly. You guys can kind of see, we didn't use any of these craters to do our crater lab, but you can kind of tell this has a really nice shadow compared to the Terminator over here. So that's going to be a pretty deep crater. It's got a little mountain. These three together, this one is called Catharina, this one is called Cyrillus, and this one is called Theophilus. And every time the moon is at this phase, you get this beautiful little bend angled lineup right here. So I love these three. Then here you have some mountain ranges as well. Well, hey, Elizabeth. Good to see you. I hope I didn't interrupt your Lego movie. Let me zoom out a little bit more here. So this area right here is known as hell, believe it or not, because it has taken the majority of the impact of so many meteors over the last several millennia. And what's cool again about this phase is because it's almost first quarter, the sun's angle is at such where all the mountains and all the craters are highlighted in shadow. So they're really easy to see. On a full moon, you wouldn't get this. That's part of the reason I wanted to do this moon tonight. Up on this end, there's not much going on. Let me move it down a little bit. So this is actually an inverted view because the telescope sees everything backwards. This is actually south, but who really cares at this point? So here's this Mare Serenity. You can see, you can see the Terminator so well defined right there. Look at that straight line almost. Pretty crazy. And then you got a couple of craters up here, and this top end is pretty notched up pretty badly. But overall, this is a much nicer area than down by hell. You guys have any questions while we're looking? You guys are silent. Oh, hey, Lexi. How are you? Good to see you chimed in. Oh, one thing I wanted to do, I wanted to show you guys, when you look up at the sky, your eyes automatically adjust to the brightness of the moon, and you really can't see the other side. It almost looks like there's not a whole moon there. But watch what happens if I overexpose a little bit and make the camera get a little more light. Even more than that. Let me blow it out. There we go. So now you can see really the idea that the moon is always half illuminated. And there's that beautiful half right there in the dark. So if you were standing right here, you can kind of see how the sunlight just leaks over a little bit into these high-walled craters. That terminator is kind of bumpy only because those craters are so high. But you get a really good feel for the rest of the moon. Over here you have Mare Imbrium and the Sea of Storms. You have Mare Frigid up here. Look at this crater right here, how that's just popping out. So again, really cool that you can see the whole moon if your eyes could adjust to that. Let's see if I can move this box here. Let me try something else here. It turned a little red because my camera sensor has high sensitivity to red light, so that's why it looks red on this particular view. There's a great zoom in right here. Yeah, James, you're right. When the moon is pretty crescent and pretty small, there's what's called earth shine, because on a small crescent moon, that means there's almost a full earth. And so the light of the earth actually illuminates. We wouldn't be able to see this if the light of the earth weren't bouncing off the moon. So that's pretty cool. Well, you're going to have to explain that to Jovi with a terminator. The terminator is where the sunlight meets the darkness, right here. If you look up here, look at the very top. I'm going to zoom in on this. Let me go back out here for a second. Let me move this focus because there's a real cool spot that's just being highlighted. Do you guys see this little dot right here? I don't know if you're on your phones or if you're on your computer, but you can kind of see over, you're looking over the horizon of the moon at a crater on the other side that's just high enough that it goes right above the moon's surface and you can see the sunlight bouncing off of it. These little dots here are high mountain peaks that the sun is beginning to rise on. So that's another good proof of why the Earth is not flat and all planets are spherical, for those people who don't believe that. Let's take it down to, oops, sorry, hang on. Come back on it, there it is. Ooh. Not exactly sure why it went red. My white balance got messed up here. But that's okay. Let me see if I can adjust that in settings. Nope. Let me see if I can get back to my normal white balance. Here, I'll zoom up on these craters again while we're here. This area called Hell, I'll move in. Here we go. Oh no, that's a really good picture. That's very crisp. Wow, that crisped up a lot. You can kind of see it blurring if you look closely. Looks like Swiss cheese, doesn't it? You can see it, the moon kind of boiling or like squishing in and out. That's because the atmosphere is wavy. It's like looking over a barbecue when the barbecue's on and you see the image dancing and waving. So sometimes you get really good images of clarity, and sometimes you don't. Let me let me open it up. There we go. Now we're talking. Let's get real close now. And you can see some of those really cool pockmarked craters in there. Look at that, crater within a crater right here. Right here. This big crater is a little crater right there, and there's another crater right here on the edge. You couldn't see that if the sun weren't rising on it right now. Man, that looks like Swiss cheese. Look at this Rift Valley right here. Kind of a mountain range. Mountain ranges everywhere. Zoom back out. And let me Pineapple Boy. I don't know Pineapple Boy, do I? Oh, right back at you, Atlanta, although I don't know who you are. Oh, hey, Alex. Good to see you. Let me change the shutter speed here a little bit, and we will see if we can get it to be a little crisper. You get a little more detail that way. Again, sorry about the red color. That's not the real color of the moon. My camera sensor is super sensitive to red light because it's set up more for stars. But, oh, Atlanta, I figured. Hey, Halen, we missed you today in class. Eddie, are you watching Lego Movie yet? This is great. This one, let me, again, you guys who just joined us, let me zoom in on these three craters right here. Right there. So this one is called Katharina. This one's called Cyrillus. And this one is called Theophilus. And you can see Theophilus is almost a perfectly symmetrical round crater. It's got a really cool mountain in the middle of it. And again, this reminds me of our moon crater lab that we did in class where we measured the distance of that shadow and then how far that was to the terminator over here. So a lot of mountain ranges going on in here too. You guys have any questions, or do you want me to move to any other part of the moon while we're here? Oh, here's Tranquility, where they landed on the moon, the first mission. Right here. Oh, that looks nice. You can see how smooth Tranquility is. In fact, all the lunar seas, they almost look like sand dunes. And in fact, they are really super smooth, and that's why they don't reflect as much light. We talked about that back when we talked about the seas versus the other part. But it's got a couple of craters. It's got a little mountain ridge in here, but for the most part, it's pretty smooth. And I believe the Apollo landed. Let me zoom out so I can see. Right around in this area down here for their first shot. Serenity has this nice ripple going on right here, this little mountain range. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the man on the moon. There really never was a man on the moon, but if you get rid of this 5x zoom here. If you look at it, back in the day, before they had telescopes, they used to think that those Mare Crisium there and Nectaris were like eyes. I almost used to think it was like an ant. This area here almost looks like a giant paw print with Crisium, Nectaris, and Chrysis, Nectar, and what was Fecunditatis? How could I forget? Fertility. Yeah, speaking of women on the moon, their first trip back to the moon on the new spaceship is going to include the first woman astronaut, for sure. That's one of the things they want to do. Yeah, you should. You should do it. You should apply to be an astronaut. Just never forget whoever taught you about the moon. Let me zoom in on this again. Actually, let me try a 10 times zoom. I should be able to do that. Yeah, it's not letting me. So those are my favorite three craters right there. I remember when I was your age and I got my first telescope and I looked at this moon. These are the first three craters I ever really saw, and fell in love with them just because they're so unique in that threesome bent pile. This one kind of looks like a barbell or an hourglass. These two together, they're kind of linked by a valley. And then Theophilus here is smack dab. It looks like it was so big it overlapped this crater right here. But I just like the double mountain ranges inside. Zoom in, you can see the double mountain ranges here. Ooh, crazy zoom. Let me see if I can center it up. There we go. Got your double mountains there. You got your big mountain right there. It almost feels like you're in space amongst the angels. Flying around with birds. It only sounds like there's birds on the moon. There's little children on the moon, too. So there it is. Well, I thank you guys for participating in our first ever moon live stream this year. I'm sorry we haven't yet been able to get the telescope out to Chevela, but it's been so cloudy and rainy, especially during this moon. This moon is my favorite moon to observe, so that's why I wanted to try it tonight and see how it worked. And so it looks like it's working pretty well. Again, for those of you that came in later, let me show you how you can see the whole disk of the moon. If I overexpose it a little bit, you can actually see the dark side of the moon right there. Gives you an idea of how bright the Earth is, reflecting our light on the moon. Now, if you look up right now, you can't see this part with your eye, because the moon gets so bright, that first half gets so bright that it makes your eyelids, your irises squeeze down to nothing, and you can't see the dark side. But when the moon's a little crescent, you can see it a lot better. Like James said, he saw it last night when it was a little crescent. Trying to see if we can get any stars here. Let me move away from the moon for a second. Oh, there's a star. Let's see, maybe I can get to Orion. Let me see if I can get there. Hang on one second. See if we can see the Orion Nebula. Hold on. I'm going to move the telescope there and see if it shows up. And no. It doesn't show up. Well, I'm not going to spend the time to align it there. Let me go back to the moon. Hopefully we can get back to the moon. All right, back to the moon. Let's see if we hit it. Oh, little star. Okay, got to find the moon. Hang on. Hold on. I gotta leave and go over and find it. 1 second. I'm still here. There it is. Got it back. I'm using my little telescope, so alignment isn't all that great on it, but it works. All right, let me take this back down to a better shutter. Here we go. So do you guys have any other questions? I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night. But I do appreciate you guys, all 32 viewers, coming on. It was kind of fun. We need to do it again. Maybe try something a little bit different next time. But if you guys don't have any other questions or want to see anything else on the moon, we can go. You're that sad? Really, you're sad because you want to see more moon? Oh, we could talk about it tomorrow too, so not a big deal. Let me get one more close-up frame here. Oops. I like it right. Actually, let's get a close-up on Chrysium and Fecunditatis. We didn't look at those. Oh, you guys know I love you too. Here we go. There's a good shot of Chrysium right there. There's Chrysium. And then Fecunditatis right down towards the bottom area. So there you go. That's a good view right there. Yeah. The last stream I did was when Jupiter and Saturn were really, really close together. And so I live streamed that for all you guys and also for the whole staff at Chevela and also all the people in my church. So I think that's why I had so many views. So that was a fun live stream. The next lunar eclipse is next October. You guys will be in high school, but if you still subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to see it when I live stream it. So my plan, if the weather permits, is to go ahead and live stream that as well, the lunar eclipse, which will be cool. That's the blood moon. You guys will do good in high school. You'll love high school. High school's fun. You'll get to go out for lunch
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
and eat all the things that you want. Listen to all your boring teachers sound like. Just like that. There is a partial solar eclipse, yes. And I think that's on a Saturday. I'll double check. If it is, I can stream that too. Now that I know that my YouTube channel works. All right, you guys. I'm going to check out. It's almost my bedtime. So thanks for watching and thanks for being part of it. We can talk more about it tomorrow. Otherwise, have a real good night. Do not stay up too late. Get a good rest for your performance task in the morning. All right, guys. Love you. Marsala out.